Hi everybody, it's Christina and thank you for joining me. So today I'm going to make a little card that's with inks, but I'm going to dress it up just a little bit more with some Gilding Flakes and a double-sided sticky sheet. So we're going to deal with a handmade paper, and I've done this one in Picked Raspberry and Kitsch Flamingo with shaded violet and, wilted violet and shaded lilac. And then I've used some gold embossing powder and some gold splatter on it to bring out the texture. But for the next one we're going to do it in shades of blues and lilacs. So we're going to use chipped sapphire, tumbled glass and wilted violet, and this time we'll splatter it with silver. So let's get busy and make this card. So I've just put some chipped sapphire down onto the mat. I've spritzed it with a little bit of water, and then I'm going to mix this in. And then with this is a bubble wrap bag, and I'm just going to add this to the card, just in random areas. And then once I'm happy with that look, I can dry this off and move on to the next colour. So I've repeated the process with the tumbled glass, and I'm now going to add this to my card. Again, just in random areas. And then once I'm happy with that look, I can go ahead and dry this and repeat the process with the wilted violet. So once I've done this and I've dried it off, I've gone in with the chipped sapphire again just to deepen the shade. And then with the text stamp, I'm just going to go over this, adding in some text in random areas as I go over the card. So this is with the chipped sapphire, and then with the wilted violet and the dragonfly, I'm going to just add this in the areas where there's no text. I'm going to go over this with some talcum powder. Then with a random pattern stamp I'm going to add some Versamark, and I'm just going to add this in different areas on the card, rotating the pattern as I go. And then once I've done that, I'm going to sprinkle it with some silver embossing powder. So I've sprinkled that there just to show you what it looks like. There it is. And now once I've covered all this, I can heat that. So I'll go ahead and cover the rest of the sheet. So once I have that done, I've got some silver paint here. This is just watercolour paint, and I'm just going to tap this over the card just to add some splatters to it. So there we have two very pretty papers, both done in exactly the same way, just using different colours. And I've used Distress Oxides for these. This is in pink and lilac, and this is in blues and purples. One has got gold on it, the other has silver. So now we can decide what we want to do with these pieces of paper to create our cards. And we're going to do one for the girls and one for the boys. So with the pink paper we're going to cut this into strips. Now I've got 8 strips there. You can either use a die that will cut the strips for you, or you can use your trimmer. It's entirely up to you. So I have an A6 top folded card, I have a spare piece of card that will fit on the front, I have some double-sided sticky sheet which I'm going to add to this piece of card. So we'll add that in there. Now the reason you're adding it to this and not those strips is because you want some exposed sticky. So we'll cut that down and then we'll add in these. So you have the sticky added to one side, and you're going to take off the other side of the sticky to reveal the rest of the sheet that's under there, and that's all sticky. So we can take all this off, and now we're going to add these strips in, and I can get it off my fingers. We're going to add these strips in as and where you would like them. So you're just going to add them in, you're going to leave a gap and add the next one in. And again, leave a gap and add the next one in until you've filled all the sheet completely. Now with these longer pieces that you have left, you can trim those off and you can use them in another area of your card to fill it in. So we can add this in along there. We can add this one in. That's not straight. That's better. We can add this one in along there. And then we can fill the rest in till we get down to the bottom with the strips. Now I'm leaving quite a sizable gap between them because I'm going to fill this with some Gilding Flakes. I'll have this one because it's got plenty gold on it. There we go. Now once we've done all that, we can trim these off. And now because we've got gold in there, we're going to fill this with some gold flakes. So here's our flakes. Now all we're going to do is press the gold leaf, and this is in quite big sheets. We're going to press this into that sticky gap. And then we're going to take a soft brush and brush off the excess. So once you've brushed this off with your soft brush, you can put all these back into your box and they will come in handy for another occasion. Now for my boy card, I'm going to take the 5th die from this, and this is a stitched hexagon shape, and I'm going to cut as many of these shapes out as I need to fit my 5x7 card. So once you've cut all your shapes out, keep the other piece of card for another project. You can always use it on something else. And for this, I'm just going to go around the edges with the Wilted Violet and a soft brush. So with your edges all inked, take a double-sided sheet of paper, and this is sticky, and just add this to your card. Now save what's left, because you can always add this to a sentiment if you wish. But you're now just going to cut that out so that that's ready for you to add your shapes to. Now with this, you're going to press that all down, and then before you add anything in, this is going to be the sticky side. You're going to see where you would like your shapes. Do you want them coming down this way? And you're going to leave a gap in between all of them. Do you want them going across your card this way? Do you want them just randomly added to your card? Or do you want to just add them to one part of it? So we'll just add these along this bottom piece here. And anything like this, you can always cut one in half and use it on your shape. So just have a dry run and see where you would like them. And then any you don't like, you can always change. Before you stick them down, you can change them. So I think we'll have that like so, and these pieces that cut off will fill in these little gaps along there. So I'm going to add mine to my sticky paper that way. So I have my pieces stuck down like this, but obviously this piece at the top is still sticky. So I'm going to cut that off, following the shapes that are there. And now we can fill all these gaps with the silver flakes. And then once we've got all these gaps filled, we can take this soft brush or the Scoochie again, and we can just take off the excess with the sponge. And now we're ready to move on to the next step. So the next step is to trim these down. This one is the second die down from the A6 nesting set, and I'm going to cut that out there. And this one is the second die down from the 5x7 nesting set. So I'm going to cut both of those out now, and they will be ready to add to my cards. So now this one can just be straight added to the A6 card, but before I do that I'm going to wrap it with some ribbon. So I'm just going to put some ribbon along the bottom, fasten it on the back, and that can then be added to my card. But for this one I'm going to add it to another panel of 5x7, and this is just slightly bigger than the actual panel there. And I'm going to add a sentiment to the top there before I emboss it. So on my extra panel, that's where I'm going to put my sentiment. So I'm going to pick that up with the door. I'm going to go over that with some anti-static. Then I'm going to stamp it with some Versamark and then sprinkle it with some silver embossing powder. And then once I've tipped that off and heated it, that will be a beautiful sentiment on my card. So once I've done that, I'm going to put this into an embossing folder and put it through the machine before I add it to my card. So once that's been embossed, I can add this to my card, leaving just a small border around the edge. And then this can be added to the top, and again leave just a small border around the edge. So now with my two base cards made, I can add my extra embellishments to my card. And for this I'm going to add in some silver leaves along the bottom. I've done a white base and a silver filigree butterfly for the top. And for this one I've cut some pink leaves, some gold leaves, and they're going to sit along there. And then I've got my pink bow for the ribbon at the bottom, and I've got pink flowers that I'm going to add in to the top. Now this is just a dry run. If I don't like where these go, I can always change them. So we'll add these along here. We'll put that one in there, and we'll put the little tulip and the sweetheart blossom down there at the bottom. So that's got a sentiment on it. This needs a sentiment on it. Now for this butterfly's body I'm adding in some pearls, and they're just going to sit along the body line. I've curled the wings around my pencil. This one has got the ribbon glued in place, but I do not like these centres, so I'm taking that centre out, and in my bit box I have found two matching dazzlers, so one's going there and one's going there. And then I've got my little sentiment which says happy birthday, you look younger than ever, and they're going to sit along there. And then to finish off, I'm just going to add in some glitter to the flowers. So we'll just dot this with some glue and then sprinkle on the glitter, tip off the excess and leave it to dry. And once that dries, the glitter will just lie flat on the card. So there are my two cards, one for the boys and one for the girls. You could put flowers on this if you wanted to, but I've left them off because I thought that would look better as a male card. This is another one that I've made with another panel. This has got pink and blue in it, and it's got gold. So I've added a fancy die around the side. I've added in my leaves, and for this I've just added some Nouveau drops to the top. But there you've got three really pretty cards done using Gilding Flakes, handmade panels and some die cuts. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please like, comment and share it with your friends. And why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, then you'll always be aware when I add a new video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.